If you spend 6, 8, or even 10 hours a day sitting at a desk, you already know something important. A cheap office chair can start feeling really expensive after your back, hips, and legs have been sitting in it all day. But this chair has one feature I don't really see in many office chairs, and it's actually one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to check it out, and that is the lumbar support inflates with this bulb, and you can deflate it with a push of a button. You can actually pump air into the lower back support and customize how much pressure you want against your back. But here's the question I really want to answer in today's video. Does that inflatable lumbar support combined with the spring cushion seat, reclining back, footrest, extra wide design, and 400-pound weight capacity actually make this noticeably more comfortable for long work days, or are these just a bunch of features that sound impressive on paper but don't really matter once you've been sitting in the chair for several hours? That's what we're going to find out today, and stick with me until the end, because after looking at everything this chair offers, I'm going to answer that question and tell you who I think this chair makes the most sense for, and who may want to look at something else and consider another chair on the market. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So let's start with what we're looking at. This is a big and tall executive style office chair that's designed for people who want something a little more substantial than your typical basic office chair. And there's a lot going on here. As you can see, we've got a 400-pound weight capacity, an extra wide seat, a very high back, and upgraded spring supported seat cushion. There is adjustable armrest, a reclining back that goes from approximately 90 degrees all the way to 135 degrees. You got a retractable footrest, a heavy duty class 4 gas lift, a premium PU leather, and of course that adjustable inflatable lumbar support. So this isn't really trying to be a minimalist little task chair. This is a much more of an executive chair with comfort and adjustability being the focus. And let's start with what I think is probably the most interesting feature on this chair. Let's talk about this lumbar support that we was talking about, because this is different. One of my biggest complaints with a lot of so-called ergonomic office chairs is that the lumbar support isn't really adjustable. You sit down and wherever that cushion happens to hit your back, that's what you got. And sometimes it's too aggressive, sometimes you can barely feel it, and sometimes there's actually a gap between the chair and your lower back. This chair approaches that problem quite differently. It has a built-in inflatable lumbar support system. You got a pump that allows you to add air and increase the firmness of the support behind your lower back. So instead of having one predetermined amount of lumbar pressure, you can customize it. And if you like just a little bit of support, keep it softer. If you like something that presses more firmly against your back, add more air. It's that simple. And I think that's an important distinction, because when we're talking about an ergonomic chair, everybody's body isn't shaped the same. The amount of lumbar support that feels great to me might be completely different from what feels comfortable to you. And because this system inflates, it's designed to contour more closely to your lower back rather than simply putting a fixed pillow behind you. Now, obviously, comfort is subjective. But from a design standpoint, I really think the idea of being able to fine-tune the lumbar support instead of being stuck with whatever the manufacturer decides was comfortable is a very, very cool feature on this chair. But lumbar support doesn't mean much if the seat itself is uncomfortable. And this is another area where this chair is doing something very, very interesting. Instead of relying entirely on a basic slab of foam, this seat combines multiple layers of high-density foam with a spring-supported cushion. Think about the difference between sitting on a basic foam pad and sitting on something that has something really comfortable underneath. The springs are designed to help distribute your weight while giving the cushion some additional resilience. And that's especially important if you're someone who sits for long periods of time. One of the biggest problems I find with inexpensive office chairs is that they can feel fantastic when you first sit down. You think, man, this chair is extremely comfortable, but give it a couple hours and that's when you start noticing pressure underneath your thighs, pressure underneath your hips. And over time, some foam cushions can start compressing and sagging underneath your weight. This spring supported design is intended to provide more responsive support and help the seat maintain its shape. And considering this is marketed as a big and tall chair, I think having a substantial seat cushion is particularly important. That brings us to the construction of the chair. This chair is rated to support up to 400 pounds or approximately 181 kilograms. To accomplish that, it's built around a reinforced steel frame and uses a heavy-duty Class 4 gas lift. You also got that wider seat area, which could make a significant difference for someone who feels cramped in a traditional office chair. And that's something people sometimes overlook when buying an office chair online. They'll look at the weight capacity, but don't forget about the actual size of the chair. If you're a bigger or taller person, you don't necessarily need a chair capable of supporting more weight. You may also want a wider seating area and a larger backrest so you don't feel squeezed into the chair. And that's really the direction they've gone with this design. It's designed so well, this chair is. And it's also attractive, as you can see right here, this design. Now, let's say you've been working for a couple of hours and you want to take a break. This is where the chair starts feeling a little less like a traditional office chair and a little more like a relaxation chair. The back can recline from approximately 90 degrees to 135 degrees. And at 90 degrees, you're at the more upright position for typing, working, studying, or attending meetings. But when you want to relax, simply lean it back. And underneath the chair, you also got a retractable footrest. Underneath here, you can pull this back, kick up your feet, recline the chair, and now you got a support underneath your legs as well. I could see this being particularly useful for someone working from home with that remote job. Maybe you've been staring at a computer for 3 hours. Instead of getting up and moving to the couch, you can lean back, put your feet up, and take a short break. And then when it's time to get back to work, footrest goes back underneath the chair. You bring the chair back up, upright, and you're ready to go start your work session again. I also think that this will be a great gaming chair as well for those of you that like gaming. We also got height adjustment padded armrest right here. So they do come up and down on the side. And I think armrest adjustment is one of those features that doesn't sound particularly exciting until you use a chair where the armrests are in completely the wrong position. Depending on the height of your desk and your own body proportions, you may want your arms higher or lower. It's just nice that they include these armrests that are adjustable. Being able to adjust the armrest gives you more control over your seating position. Ideally, you want your arms supported without feeling like your shoulders are being pushed upward. It's just an uncomfortable position. Combine that with the adjustable seat height, reclining back, and adjustable lumbar support, and you've got several different ways to customize how this chair feels. And then we've got the appearance of this chair. This chair is wrapped in premium PU leather with diamond stitching. I made a comment about this earlier. It's so nice. So visually, it's definitely going for that classic executive office chair appearance. The material is designed to be soft, durable, water resistant, and relatively easy to clean. And that's one advantage of this type of surface that this chair has. If you spill a drink or get something on the chair, you're not dealing with a fabric surface that's immediately absorbing everything that it just got spilled on it. You can generally wipe the surface clean, and I think the diamond stitching is a nice touch because it keeps the chair from looking too plain. This could fit nicely in a traditional office, home office, gaming room, or behind an executive desk. So who do I think should be looking at a chair like this? I think there are a few types of people. If you're a bigger or taller person who's tired of sitting in smaller office chairs, the 400 weight capacity could be very attractive. If you work from home and spend most of your day at a computer, the adjustable lumbar support and spring cushion could be two of the biggest selling points of this chair. If you're a gamer, you got the high back, reclining capability, adjustable armrest, and footrest. And if you're somebody who simply wants a comfortable executive style chair instead of one of those thin mesh office chairs, this is definitely a different approach and it might be right for you. But now we need to go back to the question that I asked at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to answer it right now. At the beginning of the video, I asked, do the inflatable lumbar support, spring cushion seat, reclining back, footrest, extra wide design, and 400-pound capacity actually make this chair more useful for long periods of sitting, or are they simply features that sound impressive on paper? And here's my answer. I think the biggest advantage of this chair is that those features actually work together toward the same goal, giving you more ways to adjust your seating position throughout the day. The feature that stands out the most to me is still the inflatable lumbar support, because instead of the manufacturer deciding exactly how much lower back support you're going to get, you have complete control over it. Then you got the spring supported cushion underneath you where you sit. You got a wider seating area, and you got adjustable armrests, which is also a nice feature. You got the ability to sit upright while you're working, and when you want to relax, you got a 135-degree recline and footrest. So if you're looking for a lightweight, minimal office chair, this probably isn't the style you're looking for. But if you're specifically looking for a big and tall executive office chair with a 400-pound capacity, customizable lumbar support, and a really nice cushion seat, and the ability to kick your feet up and recline, then I think this chair checks a lot of boxes. And that inflatable lumbar system is definitely the feature that separates it from many of the traditional office chairs I've seen on the market today. If you spend a lot of time behind a desk, I'll love to know, what's the one thing that bothers you the most about your current office chair? Your lower back, your hips, legs, are just not having enough room? Drop that down in the comments, because I really want to know. And I hope you enjoyed the video today. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And I want to thank the brand personally for gifting me this and sending this out to me in order for me to give my honest opinion of this chair. And you might be wondering about assembly. Assembly took me about 30 minutes and I was done by myself. It was so easy. So thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you in the next one.